in Waqf, I think the subject that we are going to talk on the concept of Waqf in agriculture, I think he is indeed one of the good speaker that can talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, Waqf has a long history in Islam. It has played, and in many cases, continues to play a pivotal role in the socio-economic advancement of the Muslim community. Many phenomenal architectural relics and public infrastructures all over the world, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, throughout the centuries, were funded by Waqf. Al-Azhar University in Egypt, the University of Cordova in Spain, and An-Nuri Hospital in Damascus, to name a few, are among the public projects financed by Waqf funds. Some Waqf institutions have even survived for more than a millennium. Despite its phenomenal achievements, there's still room for improvements in terms of Waqf management. Throughout centuries, mismanagement has resulted in vast idle Waqf lands and properties. Many people, due to their lack of understanding of dynamic aspect of Waqf, often limit its scope to immovable properties and lands, and for religious and educational purposes only. There is a need, therefore, to explore more productive and innovative directions for Waqf. Among these is the agricultural sector. Effective and extensive implementations of agricultural Waqf would not only expand Waqf as a concept, but have a great potential to strengthen our national food security. With that, we would like to invite Bapa Iqbal to give his presentation on this concept of Waqf in agriculture. Over to you, Bapa Iqbal.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My voice is heard. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Bihi nasta'inu ala umri dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursalin. Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. First of all, thank you for inviting me to discuss in this subject. As my bahasa may be difficult for you to understand, the bahasa is a bit different with Malay. I try to speak in English, maybe easier. What about Waqf agriculture? Actually, it's the first Waqf introduced by Rasulullah SAW is agriculture Waqf. You may heard or you may read in the first Waqf made by Rasulullah SAW is in the Uhud, after the Uhud war. That's the 3rd Hijri. So what happened at the time? Uhud war is happened on Saturday. And there is a commitment, there was a commitment at the time among Madinah citizens, all including Jewish citizens, that if attack to Medina, everybody will involved in the war. But since Uhud war is happened on Saturday, then all of Jewish refused to participate and defend the city. Only one person, one Jewish person at the time that joined Rasulullah army. So that's the name is Muhaimin. Because Muhaimin at the time angry with his people that nobody want to defend the city, and him alone that at the time joined the Rasulullah SAW Uhud to defend the Medina. Muhaimin gave a message: if anything happened to me during the war, if I'm killed, then all of my belonging, all of my property will go to Muhammad. So indeed, at the time, Muhaimin was killed, and then Rasulullah notified at the time, and Rasulullah comment that Muhaimin is good Jewish. He accept the land, 7 pieces of land at the time, a beautiful land in Medina. And what Rasulullah do with this Muhaimin land? Rasulullah said that for this land, my family will enjoy the result for 1 year. And then the rest will be for Muslim, for Ummah, the rest. So only enjoy with 1 year. So this is the jurisprudence of what we call it Mustarak Waqf. You may know that Waqf is comprised of three type of Waqf. Most of people understand about Waqf al-Khairi. Waqf al-Khairi, if you are building masjid, building hospital, building school, and other, that's Waqf al-Khairi. That's most general Waqf. And then the second Waqf is Waqf for family or Aduri or Al-Ahli. Basically, when you make a Waqf for your family, your inheritance and so on for your family, and then if your family or your inheritance is no longer there, then the public enjoy it. That's the Aduri. But Waqf Mustarok actually is in between, combining of the Waqf Al-Khairi and Waqf Aduri. It means that in the message of the Waqf, the amanah of Waqf, you can mention both beneficiary, your family, and then and then a public. Like what this happened to Muhaimin land Waqf. That's basically Rasulullah mentioned that for my family for 1 year, and then the rest will be for Ummah. So, and then similar Waqf 4 years later, that's after the Khaybar converts, the Ummah have very good land, the best land, and meet Rasulullah and convey his intention to give a Waqf for his land. Then Rasulullah also gave a message that consider your family as well. So Umar Waqf basically mentioned that the recipient, the beneficiaries of Waqf will be Muslim Ummah for Muslim need and so on, but also for the kaum karabah, the family. So you can see two type of Waqf example by our best example, Rasulullah SAW and also Umar, both on agriculture, one, and then the both have similarities. This is including the family as beneficiaries. This is a type of Mustarok Waqf. Why it's very, very important? Very important to mention this third time of Waqf, the Mustarok Waqf. Why it's very important, very strategic. Let's say if I have 1 million US dollar money, I wish I have, but let's say if I have 1 million US dollar money, and you come to me and saying that I'm building Waqf wa Ummah, I need your Waqf. So what I will say, okay, I'm still have my family to take care of, but I will willing to you. I give you, let's say, 25,000 US dollars. That's already a lot of money, but that's only 2.5% of my money. With the reason that I'm use my money for my family. So, but with under Mustarok Waqf, lan tanalul birra hatta tunfiqu mimma tuhibbun. What we love is the most of the money, not the small part of the money. But with Mustarok Waqf, I can say, okay, this is 1 million. I make a Waqf for you. But please, the result for the benefit of this Waqf to third for my family. So what happened? You can see the difference. That with Mustarok Waqf, open opportunity that people can give a huge amount of their money. Because why? Because part of the beneficiary will also for their family. Rather than give only a small part of the money, and then the whole beneficiary is for Ummah, for the beneficiary Muslim Ummah. So that's the beauty of this Waqf Mustarok. That's why it is also given in the example direct by Rasulullah SAW, the first example from Rasulullah SAW, the best example made by Rasulullah SAW, and followed by Ummah. Both is Waqf Mustarok, both on agriculture. So what I'm trying to say, the two important part of this Waqf that now still ignored by people. First is the object of the Waqf. This is the productive Waqf, like agriculture, trading, and so on. And then the second, the soft one, the big amount of Muslim Ummah asset. So that most of people build masjid, build hospital or whatever, school and so on. But that's only small part of their money because most of people put their family first, of course, and then only small part of the money going to wakaf. That's now what happened to Ummah now. A lot of rich people from Muslim community, but most of wakaf activity is very, very, limited compared to the Ummah asset. That's first. And then the second, that's what make us very concerned in Indonesia that when at the time we decide to build a Wakaf Fund Foundation and so build iGrow, I saw that whenever there is what we call it, unutilized, or underutilized land, then I ask that who's that land belong to? Then most of the people saying, oh, don't worry, that's a Wakaf land. So as if it is Wakaf land, you can ignore it. You not cultivate it, not make a productive because it's Wakaf land, just a Wakaf land waiting to be utilized in some years, maybe next years, made to be hospital, to be masjid, and so on. All is good thing, but in the meantime, it is empty. It is not utilized. So there's a lot of land like this in Indonesia. I don't know in Malaysia, but a lot of unproductive land because of wakaf land. Because of wakaf land, people know that the wakaf is the best asset, but when you ignore the how to make it productive, then the ummah not get their benefit, not get their right. A lot of Muslim people living in poor and poverty and hunger and so on. And while we have a lot of land that why this most of the land is left empty and not productive? Because when you make a wakaf of your land and there is no fund to finance to make it productive, that's what happened. Then I know that now one of the biggest Muslim organization in Indonesia near my land, they have 60 hectare land wakaf. My land is only 12 hectare. They have near my land is 60 hectare. My 12 hectare land is well utilized, a lot of economic activity there. And then their 60 hectare land is left unproductive up to now. The reason why, because there is no fund to make it productive. That's the reason why. Because most people consider willing that if you want to wakaf, I want to mix my asset is abadi forever. So you wakaf land, but forgot to give fund investment to make it productive. So this not utilized well. So that's what must happen. So it is important for us now to consider with these two aspects. I just want to stress the importance. Other wakaf, wakaf al khairi and wakaf aduri also good, but I want to stress this mustarok wakaf because why? That is still very, very limited understood and also not mention the practices in both Indonesia and also other country. I saw that Sudan is doing well about this. Sudan, they have a bank, they have hospital, they have hotel even that financed by this type of wakaf, wakaf mustarok. So they already practicing there for many, many years in Sudan. But in the other country, this kind of wakaf is not addressed. Not addressed. People still confused with between their family and also their public. While it is have a direct example from Rasulullah SAW. So that the two types. The source of the land. A lot of land in Indonesia and I believe also in Malaysia that now is not yet fully utilized because of there is no enough fund. So what we have been doing. So basically I want to share what we have been doing at the time. And now it's already 7 years we do it, what we are doing. That's most of this land, people who have this land, like this Waqf, for example, they have either the land or either the skill or either the the fund, the investment. So these three things is actually needed together. The land, we need it, the skill to make it productive, to cultivate it well, and then the fund, a source of fund finance the productivity activities. So that's the missing three things. So what we are doing actually with iGrow, I mentioned to people that, okay, because I understand that some people have money, some people have land, some people have skill. So we're trying to integrate it. For those people who have the land and not have the capital to cultivate it, talk to me, talk to us. Then we will find source of fund. But before that, we must identify the market. So that's very important thing, because when you invest on something, on planting thing and so on, there's always risk and very what you call it, perishable. The agricultural produce is very perishable, easy to damage. So you need to basically to make sure that when you have time to harvest, that you must have the market. So so before you plant anything, before you cultivate anything, make sure that you have the market. So what we are doing is basically, if people come to us with their wakaf land, first thing that we will do is basically trying to match it with the market. What is the best market available near the location or within reachable location for the land? Once we secure the market, then the next thing will be to check whether there is a skill to make it productive. That's important thing, because although if there is a market and you have no skill to meet the market demand, then will be useless your connection with market. So once you have the market, you have the skill, and then the third thing, the money wakaf will be safe enough. One is already the market and already skill. Otherwise, won't work. If you only give her money as a wakaf, but there is no market, there is no skill, then the wakaf fund will be disappear. So that's why the sequence is find the market, find the skill, and then just after that we find and with the wakaf fund. So that's so the first is that as I mentioned earlier, that the first we encourage people to make a wakaf. That's a good thing. That's very important to send a message. But then not stop on that. But then also we must be responsible, because a lot of wakaf organization, when they give land like the one that I mentioned, rich people give a 60-hectare land to this big organization with the belief that this big organization will be able to utilize it. But then for many, many years up to now, the land is left empty, uncultivated. That's not very responsible one, I believe. So that's why we need to educate people that wakaf land or for agriculture is good thing, but not stop on that. You must be able to make it productive, to give a benefit. And giving food, providing food for other people is a lot of mention in the Quran. So if you have land and you not cultivate it, not produce it, it means that you are not giving proper food for people who deserve it. So it's a very important message that must be conveyed properly to whoever that have a wakaf land and left unproductive. So we must work very hard. And then that's what we have been doing. And so now, if you would like to, let's say, some of you maybe would like to see the practice. I have a beautiful example with the one of Indonesian Rumah Wakaf. You may heard the name is Rumah Zakat. Rumah Wakaf is big organization, one of big organization Wakaf. And at that time, this is the other model that's working very well. When you have a program, for example, if you run a wakaf organization and you want to make a wakaf land, normally you collect fund small by small, gradually. While people who have land want to sell land, if we want to buy land to wakaf, then people do not want to be paid in piece by piece. They want the money in full in front. So what I'm doing, what we have been doing with this wakaf organization at the time, about 5 years ago, I mentioned to them, okay, our organization, our wakaf fund, and our commercial organization, I will buy that land. I will buy that land first, become our money. And then you, the Waqf organization, can collect fund from your people. The benefit is when you mention to your people who want to make a Waqf, small but for many, many people, you already can mention that this is the piece of land that we are going to buy and make a Waqf. So with that, they can secure the land before they actually pay. But need third party to bring this, as a bridge to when. Otherwise, if you buy land and you pay piece by piece, then you won't get land. The price will already increase and so on. So a lot of Muslims that have a capability of doing this actually have the money and have resources and idle money in the bank and so on. So can do this actually, can facilitate this. If they cannot make a wakaf for the whole of their fund, they buy first for them and then talk to wakaf fund to collect the money from the public and then buy this land. At least we can secure the land. So if that approach will be can be done, so what happened? What happened? I'm still thinking now. If you come to Jakarta, and you do not know Indonesia, for example, you come to Jakarta from airport to Presidential Palace, you hardly seen any big mosque in the street, in the main street. Why? Because Muslim not, we don't have this land in the main street. It's already belong to big conglomerate and so on. So what happened? So if people not know Indonesia well, they think that we are not Muslim country because we don't have the big mosque in the, on the way from airport to Presidential Palace. While if you go to Bangkok from the airport to the central city in the left, you will see at least two big mosques there. You can imagine. So, so we ignore with this thing, that the land is, the message is that secure the land. Secure the land. The message is secure the land before it is too expensive for Muslim Ummah to buy this. Most of the big cities, in the prime road and the main road of the big city, says we hardly have any asset in the main cities because of the price has already increased. So that's what happened. So it's very important to secure the land with the Waqf. Secure land with the Waqf. That's very, very important. And then if you are not utilize it yet, not building a mosque, not building or whatever productive thing, then you must make it productive with the agriculture, the food. Because now a lot of technology that you can use to make a productive a small land. We have, for example, in Indonesia, one of the most advanced greenhouse to cultivate the tomatoes and so on. Very effective with the technology that we bought from Netherlands. So very, very, that's part of it. It's also Waqf from our community. So that's part of it, not all of it, but part of it also belong to Waqf. So basically, there's a lot of things that we can do to improve the economy of Ummah with the agriculture. And then, what is the future? What is the future? You may aware that all over the world, in the next 10 years, is the bioeconomy years. Yeah, and the next 10 years is very, very important for the world to move into from fossil-based economy into bioeconomy. Bioeconomy, it means you need land, you need to grow something. I just read this morning that the chairman of United Nations, the Secretary of United Nations, mentioned to people of the world that stop utilizing coal and replace it with biomass because of the damage to this. What is the biomass? Biomass is anything that grow from the land. Can be plantation, could be animal, anything that grow. It means it is agriculture. So the next 10 years and year 2030 will be marked by the year of the commitment for all of the nation for their national determined commitment to comply with their requirement to reduce the carbon emission. So every country in the next 10 years will be fight with this biomass to reduce their emission. It means we need to grow it now. Because why? If you want to harvest biomass in the next 4 years, you need to grow it now. Most of biomass for, let's say, for power, for pellet and so on, they need industrial wood. That's need 3, 4, 5 years. So if people make a proper action now, then year 2030 will be still achievable for a cleaner world with this green economy. And that's need land to grow the biomass. And then the best source of the land, best of the fund for this is Waqf. Because by Waqf, make a land, it means your asset is perpetual. Your asset will be forever, but not, please not left the land as unproductive. So you need to learn to make it productive and make a good product of that. The other thing that we make, for example, in as I mentioned earlier, that we have a good example that people can visit, and is our Waqf with Rumah Waqf is in coconut trees. Why is coconut trees? That all good food in Malay and also in Indonesia, in India, need a coconut. In Thailand, all good food is need coconut. But our generation, we hardly plant any coconut. Coconut, most of coconut planted by our grandfathers. So the coconut is now is already too high. It's not economical, no longer economical to harvest. It's just too high because our generation not plant this coconut. So there is a duty for us to bring back this delicious food ingredient for us, because all of our good food need this, but nobody care it until very late now. So we have Waqf on this coconut land made by this Rumah Waqf, and I think that's a very good, because we plant not only the coconut, but a central for seedling for coconut. So with that, the future coconut Indonesia can grow more and more coconut with this Waqf, because we want to have maintain not only good food, because coconut also good source for medicine. The VCO and the product of this thing is all good thing that for Waqf. So what I would like to stress is that all of this good, very important message for Waqf is the first is agriculture, is the first example by Rasulullah SAW, followed by Umar is Waqf for agriculture. Then the second, the method that they give Waqf is also consider their family. So it means it's Mustarak Waqf. Okay. So then, and of course, all of this example is the productive land Waqf. So not just Waqf. So it's productive, make it productive so you can share the benefit. So with all of these three, hopefully that we sort speak, I would like to, share if any of you want to raise a question or want to elaborate on items, maybe, because 30 minutes is maybe for just enough for me to cover, the surface of it. But if you want to go deep into example or into whatever, please feel free to raise a question. Thank you, Prof.
Okay.
I keep back the time to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak-banyak Bapak Iqbal. I think you have given us a very good scenario from the beginning, where this concept of this agricultural workout based on this Mustarak concept develop, and then you bring into what is now being implementing and also practiced, particularly in Indonesia. But I think you have mentioned that these three components are quite important in order to make this a success, where you must have a land, you must have the fund, and you also must have the skill.
Yes.
And this is the big problem. You have the land, of course, in Indonesia, quite a big land.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, we have problems. Lands are a little bit difficult now. Since we have small land now, because the land are now quite expensive. If you go to, if I may say that in the village, for example, it's much cheaper. But in Klang Valley, Like in Jakarta, of course, Jakarta is 10 times bigger or 20 times bigger than Kuala Lumpur. So I mean, the value of the land, I mean, it is beyond. You can imagine. You can
Yeah.
imagine. But the funding is one of the important thing
Yes.
that I think that we may face. I think I don't know in Indonesia. Unlike in Indonesia, we Malaysia we are subject to our regulations. Wakaf is under the jurisdiction of the respective states. We
Yeah.
have 14 states, including the federal territories,
Mm.
and it is under the what we call it the power
Yeah.
of the what we call it hit by the sultans. So
Yes.
whatever things that we want to develop under this concept, this wakaf concept, what you have mentioned, you have to deal
Yeah.
the state. We have to deal with the state. And of course, Alhamdulillah, we in Malaysia, we have at the federal level, this, what we call it, this Jabatan Waqaf, Jauhar, Waqaf Haji, and so on. So we have that to coordinate, to make sure that we can develop and come
Yeah.
up, what call it, to have this practice more. But when it comes to agriculture Waqaf, not quite many that
Yeah.
I know of, if you want to compare, perhaps in Indonesia. But we will see, we will have some questions coming in from viewers. They have questions, some of them
Yeah.
on the comments, and as well as posted to me. But before I go to that question, this is my question.
Yeah.
How do you deal? You mentioned about some of your examples that you deal as a founder and also a chairman of this iGrow Indonesia. How do you deal with this funding? I thought that is the most important aspect that you need money to develop
Yeah.
this. Uh,
Okay. The our Wakaf fund especially have two sources.
uh-huh.
One is from our own business because if most of company they have a holding company,
Mm,
but in our business the holding company is Wakaf fund. So
okay.
that's why our Indonesian Wakaf fund we have numbers of business under this. So
Mm,
the ultimate benefit of our effort, our companies, our startup, and so on, after to pay all the professional who working on this, after all normal expenses and so on, the ultimate benefit is not enjoyed by individual. We have intention that all the benefit, the ultimate benefit will be for Wakaf. That's the first source. The first source of Wakaf, where basically we basically never what do you call it, ask people to put their money, but we make an example. Okay, this is what we are doing. That's we make a Wakaf of it. That's the first source. And then the second source, because in iGrow is financial technology. We invite people to invest to our farmers on commercial wise, but they have option if they want to share part of their yield, or it's depend on them how much, 5%, 10%, whatever they can share the part of their yield to Wakaf fund. So we have two sources. Most both of them are professional Wakaf fund. It means not just a donation. So we're trying to make other people money a productive, and one is productive, then we tell them, okay, you can get back all of the result for you, or if you were kind enough, you can share with our Wakaf fund. So basically that what we are two sources of our Wakaf fund so far. On that, we wish we can go faster, but we're trying to make small, but it's working. So that's the important thing. Yeah? Make a very, although it's not the size, but how to make things work on this. So with this, we have numbers of research, we have education, we have land, this productive land, and so on. That's part of this Wakaf activities.
Okay, thank you, Pak Iqbal, Bapak Iqbal. There's one question from Iki Sari. He asks you, Salam Pak Iqbal. It's always interesting if we will listen your explanation about agriculture in Quranic perspective. His question is, as we know, you are one of the founders, Agri FinTech, iGrow Asia.
Yeah.
For next future, do you have any plan to combine Waqf through fintech or using
Yeah.
others digital such as blockchain or machine learning in agriculture. So, Bapak Iqbal, this is quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, actually, in fact, we have already planned since 2 or 3 years ago. At
Yeah,
the time, we also even secure a fund to prepare this. We have fund from Australia that we get from because we won at the time the Frontiers Innovation Award in Australia. So we have a fund to develop the solution, WACAF and also agriculture and fintech with the blockchain, particularly with specifically with the blockchain. At the time, Australia also financed us to learn about this blockchain strategy in Oxford University. So we have all the knowledge already there. The problem is that why we cannot execute up to now with this blockchain Waqf and other. The problem is the Waqf in Indonesia, sorry, the blockchain in Indonesia is basically regulated by three parties. One is the Indonesian Financial Service Authority (OJK) if it is involved about investment. And then one is under Bank Sentral, Indonesian Bank, Central Bank, if it is about the payment. Then another one, this Indonesian commodity trade bodies, if it is about commodity. For our small organization, startup organization, deal with one institution is already hard enough, as to deal with the authority is not easy. And then if we need to deal with all of these three, then all of our time will be, exhausted to do that. So we have a beautiful concept about blockchain Waka through blockchain and so on. I still have the papers now. If you want to, I can share it to whoever that is, because I have difficulties to implement this blockchain thing. Because a beautiful thing actually with blockchain is because it's secure, the documentation is secure, documented well, auditable, traceable, and all beautiful thing about the blockchain. But to make it wakaf, it's a lot of regulation that become a barrier of it. And then the fourth problem is, I don't know in Malaysia, but in Indonesia, the wakaf regulation, our wakaf undang-undang wakaf, the wakaf act is focused on wakaf al-khairi wakaf. They are not addressing yet the wakaf for al-ahli, for family wakaf, and also mustarak wakaf, because there's both of them have a different nature. So that's also other difficulties, because if there is no proper act to to provide to support to us, then if something going wrong or something like that, they said we are afraid that somebody accused us as being doing the black money laundering or something like that, because there is no proper regulation to serve. So that's why for time being our wakaf organization just use our community and our own fund to build this wakaf. We are not collecting yet to public because of this. We can collect it under Al Khairi, but a lot of organizations already doing that. We are not focused on the Al Khairi because Al Khairi Wakaf is a lot of organization that's already doing that. We want to focus on this Mustarak Wakaf because they left unexplored yet, a huge potential but left unexplored yet. But I must do it very, very carefully, because of this no proper regulation yet to accommodate this Mustarak Wakaf. So we still make education to a lot of people, parties in Indonesia and so on about this Mustarak Wakaf. I believe, I don't know the Malaysia experience about Mustarak Wakaf, but a huge potential there for Muslim Ummah in the future. Sorry, your voice remote.
Sorry, thank you
Okay.
very much, Bapak Iqbal. You
Okay.
mentioned about the question that one of our viewers raised. You mentioned there are obstacles
Yeah.
that make it very impossible to implement it to the Waqf. So maybe you can name a few of these obstacles. Maybe is it because the regulations are so tight? Yeah, I know it is similarly in Malaysia. We have also of this regulation that I mentioned. So somehow, sometimes it's people will just, I mean, don't bother to proceed with this plan because quite, it's not saying that it is impossible, but it's just a lot of restrictions, and people just bother about it. Maybe you can share a few of these
Okay.
obstacles.
Yeah, if I mentioned that the obstacle is happen if we want to use the blockchain system
Mm,
to back
mm,
up.
mm-hmm.
Why? Because if you do a blockchain thing, you must use your product token or whatever uh, involve three things. It's kind of investment because the value is growing and so on, and then it is related to commodity, and of course your token will also can be utilized as the payment system basically, because like Bitcoin for example, you can pay anything with Bitcoin. So that's the nature of the crypto asset, a crypto commodity. But what happened is if we want to do this the proper blockchain, because once you make it is a blockchain in the system, it can play the three role. But in our regulation, this three role is regulated by three parties. So that's our problem now. It's because we must talk with these three parties. On the asset, this is under the OJK. On the currency, SSB and central bank, and the commodity. The the most advanced regulation come for our commodity trade authority, BAPEPT. But that's create another problem, big problem for us, because they make a certain barrier of the capital that involved. It's huge capital, 1 trillion, something like that. So Waqf fund like us, it's long time before we can reach this amount that's needed for 1 trillion, for example, to be able to trade our commodity in this property thing. So this is the problem. So although we know the knowledge, we know the science, we have the technology, our people capable to do this, we cannot launch yet this Waqf fund based on the blockchain system. So we just do in more regular way.
Thank you very much, Bapak Iqbal. There is another question by Odia Shafa Atur Rahman. He says salam to you. Assalamualaikum, Bapak Iqbal. Uh, he's from, from University Malang, if not mistaken. His question is it possible to establish Wakaf-based agriculture economy that focus on staple foods?
Certainly.
Uh,
It is very, very, very possible, very much possible. We can make a design the proper model, and for this, I think that's no problem. As I mentioned earlier, my example that we have already run for 4 years now is for coconut, because it's for long-term project and so on. That's we already done. But for staple food also, that's very possible. That's no problem. We can arrange it, or we can assist you if you want to establish this kind of system in Indonesia. And that, in fact, food is one of the first what do you call it, mentioned a lot in the Quran, that you must giving food for the needy and so on. So it's very important to address this food issue, because if we can address this issue, now our biggest import is first is food, then the second is fuel. So if we can address food and fuel, then that's we will have increase our GDP.
so at the moment, Bapak Iqbal, I mean, you mentioned that you have these 4 years or on this of this plan
Yeah.
under coconut you mentioned. Any experience of this, any of the staple food, for example, rice, etc.? Do you have any experience on that at the moment?
Yeah, we have some of our corn, but not a specific program under
Mm.
iGrow, as I mentioned already.
Mm.
Under iGrow, we plant a lot of corn,
Oh.
and some of this fund that invest on the iGrow, with the mention from the holder of fund, mentioned that I will make a wakaf for the yield of but the program itself is commercial, but the intention of the contract for people who invest it, he mentioned that the yield is for wakaf. So that's also good enough, because wakaf is not have to be land, but can be what do you call it, money, cash wakaf, or the yield of your wakaf, your cash, the benefit of your cash. So a lot of things that can be done.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I'm quite passionate about this coconut. I think we in Malaysia, we are also facing this problem. As you mentioned, our dishes, I mean, we share quite, I mean, maybe the same dishes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We use of this
Nasi lemak,
nasi lemak itu tidak lemak kalau tidak ada santannya yang cukup.
tidak
And
enak.
tidak enak. Di sini pengen tidak sedap lah, tidak sedap.
Yeah,
But the thing here is, I think in many occasions we have to import coconuts from
yes,
Indonesia. We
yes,
import from Indonesia, coconut. And this is expensive right now. No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can still remember when I was small, it's only 20%, 3%. One coconut, 20, 30
Yeah,
cent, one coconut
yeah,
is now at least is to apa, I'm not very sure what is the amount of one coconut, because normally now we just go to the market and just we buy the milk, that is the
yes,
santan.
yes,
So we really don't know. And I suppose it's 4 ringgit, I suppose,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
one of the
yeah,
normal one is
yeah.
considered as about 4 ringgit in Malaysia.
That's very,
That is expensive. That is expensive. And I think this is a very good move
yeah,
by your side, by initiate this thing, because there's no replanting of this.
yeah,
If I can say, in this particular tree, except our grandfather those days.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Just one question that I may ask you. How do you have this a combination of, maybe you have mentioned it, but I did not follow you exactly. This combination of this agriculture and also developing the land together. Maybe you have quite a big piece of land, but where you combine it into development for certain projects, buildings, for I mean, it is basically it is the return will be basically for commercial, as well as the benefit of the public, and also from I mean, developing the agriculture as well.
yeah,
Perhaps you have mentioned, but maybe you can add
yeah.
more on that.
Yes, our projects in Banten area. Banten is the most west of Java. We
Mm,
have 120 hectare land at the time. Now, yeah, 120 hectare. That's basically the purpose is a combination. What
mm,
we call as the project is Agropolis project. Why is we call it Agropolis? Because we want to build a kind of city, but agriculture city.
mm,
Agropolis is the city where the people main activity is in agriculture. It's modern agriculture. That's including the coconut, as I mentioned earlier, including the essential oils. That's also very high value and so on. So with that, the city, that not like other cities, but it's totally different city. Because most of the city, when you go everywhere in Jakarta, in Java, the city is very dense with people. Most of our house is less than 100 meters, less than 100 meters square meter. Our house is, the land is only less than 100 meters. Most of the housing in Jakarta, around Jakarta, average people is the land is on the, but in our Agropolis city, the minimum land that for your house, including the for your farm, is 5,000 square meter. So half hectare. It means it's totally different city. You can build 100 for your house. You still have 4,900 square meter to grow anything you want. So this is first model in Indonesia. We call it Agropolis, the city of agriculture. That's the intention. That combination of those two. Although now, because we are waiting the toll road to reach there, now still about 5 hours from Jakarta. But once the toll road ready, it will become two or less than 2 hours from Jakarta. That we will start building the school, we start building the housing, also the mosque, the pesantren, and so on. But the land is already there, 120 hectare already secure to start with. If more and more people will participate, then we can secure more. This is the most comprehensive project of the Waqf, both for the housing and future city that's Muslim we have in Indonesia, because most of the independent city now in Indonesia is not belong to Muslim. There is no Waqf there. It's purely commercial. So we want to start building this with the Waqf main fund is from Waqf, although some is still commercial, but main fund should be Waqf.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Iqbal. There's, I think there are at least two questions. There are at least two questions that we are going to ask with the remaining time that we have. Bapak Iqbal, there's one question talking about this as investing in agriculture is a high risk.
Yes.
How does agriculture Waqf deal if a loss to happen to agriculture?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. That's a very good question. This is the Islam teaching is very, very comprehensive. You cannot address Waqf alone. You must combine with zakah and so on, complete. Why? Why? You know why? The zakah in agriculture is very high rate, 5 to 10%. What happened? If you doing harvest, you pay zakah, 5 or 10%. It depends on whether it's irrigated or not. So let's say 5% you pay zakah. Part of the receiver of the zakah is gorimin, people who are in debt. So with that, you get the point that, if you pay zakah during harvest, there will be enough fund to protect you if you have failed in your agriculture. You do not harvest. Why? Because at the time you deserve a zakah because you are in debt. Because gorimin in Islam, you can be rich in some day, and then suddenly you broke because you are not harvest. You are deserve for zakah. That's a gorimin. So that's if we combine Waqf in agriculture and also paying zakah during harvest, then part of zakah fund can be utilized and managed to protect if you are suffering the loss. With this modern insurance and takaful and so on, this fund of zakah can be managed under the portion of gorimin can be managed under insurance scheme and so on to make it comprehensive. So it means mitigating risk is is part of this ecosystem as a whole. So you cannot just doing this but take a risk, but we must, as our effort, our ikhtiar, that our effort to protect us from the risk. That's part of it. Utilize the zakah. Part of the recipient of the zakah is gorimin. Gorimin is people in debt. So that's we can put into that, and that managed by the protection of insurance and so on. So basically to smooth this thing. And the other thing that also we are doing in our community is basically we only invest in agriculture with a kind of a community. So let's say if we are growing corn, for example, we are not only growing corn with one farmers, we are growing corn with thousands of farmers. So if there is one fail in Islam, there is an aqilah system that people can contribute each other for that to support the failure one. That's the second thing. And then the third thing is you can use this wakaf to finance the agriculture with salam contract, because with salam is much safer. If it is commercial, use salam contract will be good, because if the farmer who we put for salam, if they are failed, they still can repay it in the next harvesting time. So that's the method that we can use.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Iqbal. I think I mentioned there are only two questions, but we have remaining two questions. But because of this, just one question just came in, but it is very important.
Yeah.
Recently, this is from Abdul Hadir. Recently, Indonesian government has launched Waqf as a national policy. Yes. What is your opinion on this?
Well, it is all of the good thing that we need to support, of course, that we're happy with all of this. We need to support. But, there's the most important thing is to educate people to do the Waqf, to do the Prof. That's the most important thing. The government is provide the platform, infrastructure, the policy, and other thing. But unless the people really do something, then there is nothing important, because Waqf is from people. Basically, Waqf is involving people. That's is for us. That's one step is already done very good by government. But the next thing is basically to educate people to remain the ayah that lantana lulpiro hatta tongbeku nima tohipun. Remind this ayah everybody, so people realize that their main belonging, the most loved one, is the one that they should make it for Waqf.
Okay, thank you. We take this one last question, and then we will. I will just give. I mean, read some comments, a positive comment from two viewers, and then we will give you back this opening, what we call it, this opportunity to conclude your presentation. This last question is from Sayuti. Based on your experience, is agriculture wakaf capable of self-sustained? Is the profit from the agricultural activities on Wakaf land capable to cover all of its expenditure?
Certainly,
Yeah.
certainly, no problem, no problem. Because yeah, as I mentioned earlier, before you make a Waqf for agriculture, the two preconditions that you must secure. First is the market, what you are growing, who will buy your product during harvest. That's the most important thing. And then the second is make sure that there is skill to meet the market demand. So once you have this market and you have skill to do this, that's safe enough to do that. Because most of the Indonesian agriculture done by just habit from the old generation and so on. But if you do it properly now, yes, a lot of possibilities, a lot of very attractive agriculture commodities that you can finance safely in this modern world.
Okay, viewers, Bapak Iqbal, there are two comments that I would like to share.
Yes.
Uh, this one is from Nur Ashikin Hassan. In his opinion, in her opinion, we should have more platform to discuss this very topic, this very important topic concerning wakaf of agriculture in various aspects, be it general or specific. And this is for the sake of awareness and giving broad perspectives to our Muslims community, which is still lacking. So we take that one as a good, comments, positive comment. We will, inshallah, continue to do that. And one comment from Nazrul Haziri. He said he's from Kapitani, capital for Petani,
Mm.
from Malaysia. So as I mentioned, it's not that I say that there's no practice of this concept, but it is very very few. So this Nazrul said they set up this Kapitani, which they are working in this domain to introduce Wakaf concept in agriculture. So I really don't know where they are from, but I think might be they are from somewhere. Of course, basically it's not the land in Kuala Lumpur, perhaps out of Kuala Lumpur, I suppose. So there are two positive comments, and I think we also, Malaysia is also catching up of what you have been doing in Indonesia. So Bapak Iqbal, perhaps your last few words before we end our, I think it is a very interesting presentation, very interesting discussion, but we have this time limit. Bapak
Okay.
Iqbal, please.
Thank you, Prof. Basically, I just would like to remind the importance of this agriculture wakaf is because first is the first example wakaf made by Rasulullah SAW and also Umar as an agriculture. Then the method of wakaf is to be meaningful for people to spend not the small amount of their fund or asset, but a big part of their money is to introduce this mustarak wakaf. That's to attract a bigger amount of fund to be channeled into wakaf. So that's important. And then before doing the wakaf on the agriculture, all of the professional things must be done, like securing the market, securing the skill, and so on, basically to minimize the risk. With that, we want to avoid that wakaf fund is something that nobody responsible, not like that. Wakaf fund must be managed as professional or even better than normal commercial fund. So that because for the benefit of Ummah. So that's my comment. And so thanks you for the opportunity, and very much sorry if there is something that I not clear or something like that. But feel free if anybody who view this and want to elaborate further, or if visit to our Waqf project and so on, we are almost welcome.
Inshallah, Bapak Iqbal, we are now having this movement control orders, and I think perhaps, I think by tomorrow or day after, we will have this control movement order, and this will be, there are these restrictions of traveling. So
Yeah.
perhaps
Yeah.
sometimes near future, when
Yes.
we have this opportunity, I think I would like to visit you,
Yeah.
and also to see how this concept, to
Yes.
see not only just discussing, but to have a look,
Feel.
inshallah, how it works there. So with that, on behalf of IAIS Malaysia, we would like to thank you again, Bapak Muhammad Iqbal, the chairman and co-founder of this iGrow Indonesia. And for viewers who have joined us, we would like to thank you. Inshallah, we will be having programs in the future. Till then, all the best to you. Take care.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Terima
warahmatullahi
kasih,
wabarakatuh.
Bapak.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Alis, Alis,
Saya Prof.
bapaknya sudah leave ah?
Iya betul, sudah
Oh,
live.
saya ingat dia belum leave. Saya nak sembang lagi. Dia sudah leave. Okey, tak apalah. nanti bagi kita dia punya tu email address dan sebagainya. Kita
Boleh
mungkin
Prof, insyaAllah.
kalau kita mungkin saya bincang dengan Bapak Mahbubi, kalau kita ada buat seminar tentang wakaf apa semua. Kita pernah buat tahun 2012 belum saya join. Itu bercerita dalam konsep wakaf pendidikan, pengajian tinggi. Tapi ini satu benda yang ingin saya ingat elok juga kita boleh buat. Kita ambil pengalaman di Indonesia, mungkin macam ini di Malaysia saya pun tak apa tahu sangat, sebab yang saya tahu banyaknya projek-projek lah. Buat wakaf hotel, wakaf hospital. Itu hospital tu macam di Pusrawi tu konsepnya begitulah. Jadi mungkin kita boleh spesifikkan, ataupun kita boleh buat combination. Nanti saya akan bincang dengan Bapak Mahbubi. Jadi mungkin pada masa akan datang kalau boleh in person, siapa yang boleh macam di luar negara tu, ada kemungkinan macam Indonesia mungkin boleh datang lah. Kalau mungkin yang lain tu dia boleh join through Zoom lah, kita boleh buat. Saya ingat pengalaman COVID dengan ada Zoom ni, kita boleh buat concurrent in person as well as online. Jadi kita tidak menjadi masalah. So okey ya. So Bapak Alis kenal si Bapak Iqbalnya ya?
Kenal, dan juga ada dibantu dengan kawan dari ini yang kita punya apa namanya? Co-organiser nih.
Oh, I see. Okey, terima kasih.
Oke.
Okay.